You don't need anything but a device to make music. No theory, no money, no bitches, and definitely no expectation that you'll make something good your first time round. People get so caught up in the need to make something good that they don't make anything at all. And that's like, it's just not a good excuse. The first step to getting good at anything is to kind of suck at it. I'm gonna teach you how to make something bad in FL Studio, and I'll teach it badly, but I still want to do it together because who cares if you make a bad beat with me? I don't. I'm not listening. I'm not there. I made a paper. So hop off the shitter, hop off the phone, get me out of here. Put me on the second monitor. I'm fine being there. I don't like being perceived, evidently. So the link to download FL Studio is down below, and I swear to God, if I make this video and at the end of it, you don't just make some fucking music, you... I hope you didn't need too much help downloading it. There's a literal link there, so I'll just let it play. But while that's going, just a couple things I first wanted to address. So much love in the last video, fucking insane. What I didn't account for in my last video was how to actually tell people how to make music. And if you know me, I ain't that guy. Alright, I just be making stuff I like. Like a father, I sent you guys out into the world of music with all the love and care in the world, and then I dipped. My bad, must be genetic. You know, I'm back now, like a boomerang, which is what I hope dads are like. So I'm back, and we'll run through quickly how this video is going to be structured. For the first beat, I'll show you how to make a beat with no melody, no chords, absolutely nothing besides your ears. Wait. Yeah, no, I said your ears. Beat 2. If you're so inclined, I'll teach you how to put your own melodies into FL, not how to write them. Big difference. Again, I cannot stress this enough. I ain't him. And then the third beat, honestly, I just got tired, man. I just started making music for me. And I'm sorry, but I take you as non-consensual passengers to watch me do shit I was gonna do anyways. Like when someone farts in an elevator. Get me out of... Oh. And I've structured it this way because, at least for me, melodies are the hardest part of any beat or song, and then drums are the easiest. I get this might not be the case for everyone. Diversion. So before we open FL Studio, first question we have to ask is, how do we make a beat if you don't know how to write music? Well, from the great minds that brought you stealing comes stealing, but legal. Just look up free sample packs. Literally the first one. You don't have to use the same sample pack that I do. You can just follow the instructions. Actually, I suggest that you do that. But Cymatics is a great place to start. They're good lads. They give you free stuff. Not really much to complain about there. So once you've decided on a sample pack, bam.
Here's my brother Luigi now to tell you a whole heap of a spaghetti pile of information. Hello, Mario.
It looks like a lot, but trust, it's a lot easier when you realize you don't have to use half these fucking buttons. That's probably why I'm so shit.
Bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. The type of shit I'm on you wouldn't understand.
Those were the important bits, and I'll let you know what they are as we use them, but we'll run through this toolbar first. It gives us access to a bunch of different windows, which are used at different steps of the music making process. So this is the playlist, the piano roll, channel rack, and mixer track, elaboration, eventually. Firstly, what we have to do, get our sample folder into it. So wherever you've put the samples, we'll just go into options, file, click a plus here, and then we'll just click whatever folder we've saved our samples in. That should be it. Also, I'm missing something. A quick tip, it's not mandatory, but I like using it, is auto hide for the browser. So this is where all your samples and stuff are going to be. We've just got more room for activities. So now that the folder's here, we can find it in the browser. Whoa, it's going to have a lot of shit. And let's just start. That's fucking sick. So basically we can just drag that in. So this here is what we call the playlist, I think. Hey, this is Wallflower who knows. Yeah, this big fuck off window is called the playlist. All the pieces that make up your song end up and get played from here, which includes patterns, samples, automations, which we'll get to in a later beat. So I can just drag our main sample here, and a couple things will introduce you to the tempo. This shit ain't on time. It's not lining up with our grid. So I gotta teach you what tempo is, quickly. No, I promised I wasn't gonna make a joke about you this time. Basically, tempo equals BPM, which equals how fast your song is. And while we're here, volume knob, pattern of the playlist to select which one you play and pause from, record button, tempo, and the metronome. Forget you ever saw these other ones. The cuties over at Cymatics have given us the BPM and the key. So what we can do is just drag this down, click our metronome here, and bam, we're on time. Oh, I didn't have to write a single key. It's so easy. It's so free. Yeah, I'm just gonna go dig through the rest of this and just find stuff. I didn't really have a plan how I was gonna teach this. Drum loops, sure. Nah, fuck that. The only button you'll need from this corner is the stretch knob. It's another way we can use to get samples on time. Instead of changing the tempo of the song to fit the sample, we are bending the sample to our will. I said get in there. It lets you stretch the sample rather than extending or shortening it. Just make sure to have E3 generic mode selected so it doesn't do like weird audio bullshit. We'll just see. I'm not the best producer. Cards on the table, face down defense position. You've triggered my trap card, suck dick at production. Which is to say, like, you shouldn't listen to me on how to make the best music, but I fucking love the process, and that's honestly all I care about sharing. So in my limited knowledge, I at least want to leave with you the idea that music is play. That's how you get obsessed, that's how you have fun, that's how you stop being weighed down by the expectation of an end product. That's why I'm not going to tell you what everything does, but rather I'll encourage you to experiment and play with everything. Like, it's so much fun to make, don't worry about what it's like for someone else to listen to. So these slides, slide them. Knobs, turn them. Like, you need to fuck around to find out. And you know, you can always just undo it. Realistically, the fuck is gonna happen. And trust me, the experimentation you do as a beginner, you're gonna be fiending for that kind of creativity later on. Oh, that's bad, yep. Immediately terrible. Let's do something else. Let's do that. And let's make it... I kind of like it. It's slow. I can try seeing how it sounds better. I like that too. So that's basic samples. We can try and manipulate samples further if we double click, and we'll get the sample editor. Oh boy, how can I summarize this shit? It does so much. Remember what I said before about experimenting? Yeah, move these knobs, hover over them to read it, figure it out. That's the fun part. I don't end up using this in this beat, so we'll skip it. I'm just showing you that this exists. I don't know, man. You mess around with the knobs. I'm just going to keep it simple. This is too much. And then probably the last thing I want to address in this beat is patterns. And I ain't talking about patterns of behavior. Mine are fatherless, if you must know. But patterns are just ways to organize groups of sounds, and then you can chuck that group into the playlist. And the channel rack here, by extension, shows you what you can lay inside of that pattern. This whole convoluted idea starts to make sense when we start to build drum beats, where we're usually using individual samples for each drum part. And just generally, drums consist of a kick, a snare, and a hat. Different genres require different patterns, different sounds, but genre is propaganda. But it'll work for a general guide. You can still technically lay out those one-shots one by one, but I think it's easier to get the sound into the channel rack and play it by clicking on the grid. And then we can copy, duplicate, fucky-wucky, yada yada, saves a lot of work. Now that isn't to say that this is the correct way to do drums. In FL there's a billion ways to do anything, and I make the choice to do it the wrong way every time. But if the music comes out like this, I don't know, at least I like it. So we'll just use the channel rack now, and we'll just try to feel out some sort of drum beat. Can make it a bit longer. Kind of like that. All of these buttons real quick. Magnet, you change the grid. Pencil is your basic tool. Paint lets you paint whatever clip you've selected. Delete. Mute. Slip. Okay, slip is actually useful. It's also a little tricky to explain, so I'll just show it to you. From this entire sample, you're only using this bit. Slip just moves that selection back and forth. Slice, very useful. Slices if you left click. Right click will delete the shorter slice. Select. Zoom. Fucking useless button, honestly. And playback. So you just click it, and it'll just play at whatever point you've clicked it. Okay, you got that? So I'm using select. Control B to duplicate. Let's keep building. Boom, 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 boom. If you right click this, you'll get more options. Figure that out in your own time, but what I'm going to use it for is the graph editor. So you can pick velocity. Basically, like if you're pressing a piano key, how hard you press it is going to affect how it sounds. In one shots, usually it just messes with the volume, but there's some plugins and stuff that we'll get into that actually use velocity. So I'll just use this to just get a bit of variation. And then we'll just add a bit of variation here too. That's pretty much it. So that's like the basic ingredients of a beat. Like we could technically structure this and try to make it sound a bit more like a real thing, but really that sample's done a lot of the work for us. I mean, technically that's a beat. I told you it was going to be bad, but you know what? Focus on making it exist first and then you can make it good. Bit of arrangement. We can add a bit more like effects and stuff. So before this drum hits, let's go to effects. I don't know. Bink. Yeah, this could be a whale song. Fuck it. I'm communicating. So this song is in F sharp minor. So if we go back to the sample edit window that we saw before, we can turn the pitch up. So what's C to F? I don't know. I'm just gonna do that and listen. It's too loud. Turn it down. Yeah, there's your first beat. Not bad for no melody, bro. Pretty good. On to the next one, I guess. Oh, wait, shit. Save as whale. I'll be damned. It's like this for the entire time. I don't even know why I turned on this webcam. In my defense, it was 3 AM. It was my 13th fucking attempt at making a beat for this part of the video, so I really had to lock in, and I think I finally did it. Spoilies! So I'll walk you through what I did, and we can point and laugh at this idiot in retrospect. First thing I did was look for a new sample, and thank God cymatics includes stems, so I can tell you all what that means. Stems are just the individual parts of the song. Think ingredients. So we can see this melody is made up of 5 parts, and I'm instantly deleting the bass out of habit, and also so we can make our own. We'll also do the thing we did in the last beat to get these samples on time, and then we'll put a pin in this for now, because I did say I would teach you how to write your own music for this beat, and to do that we first need an instrument to play our music, and that's where VSTs come in. Technically it stands for virtual studio technology because it relates to plugins and effects as well, but what we're dealing with is the virtual instrument side of things. So I'm loading up FL keys. Now people might say this plugin is bad, but have you considered that it's free? It's also a great time to teach you how to turn shit into chocolate, or whatever that saying is. ESL. I'll click here to load it up. I go into the presets and click ePiano because it's the one I like, diddle some knobs, and like that. It's not half bad. Now, writing music for our beat. In the piano roll, and just click it in. But I'll take the opportunity to use pre-made Midi as an excuse to teach you about it, and not at all to compensate for my lack of composing skills. So Midi is a file type that is basically digital sheet music for computers. And like sheet music, they also sometimes contain information about velocity, panning, etc. So we can drag this in. All right. I won't be so lazy. I'll change some stuff. The point still stands. You could write the entire thing. Ain't me, but it could be you. I just arpeggiated it. Used a tool in the piano roll called the chopper for some spice here. A note roll. You can find more tools here and get the pleasure of figuring out what they do in your own time. And you know, we've got it sounding like this. I think that's good enough. Now we can go back to our regularly scheduled programming and work on starting this off with a new pattern. We're waking up early, we're exercising, we're being kinder to ourselves and others. New year, new wallflower. This was meant to come out in January. I did not do any of these things. So finding drum samples, clicking in the snares. Remember when I said drum patterns consist of snares, kicks, and hi-hats? That was like 5 minutes ago. Did you remember when I said you shouldn't listen to me? That was like a minute ago. Keep yourself safe. Kidding. Sorry, my my league was showing. I'm just using this rim here instead. It's like a hi-hat with spice. Serves the same rhythmic function with a slightly different sound. And why? Well, because this sounds better to me, a bit more interesting, and I have the opportunity to. And another subversion. We're doing the 808s before the kick, because I think it sets the bounce of the beat, which sometimes can be more important depending on what you do. 808s, it's like Midi, but we're just clicking it in. If you're having a tough time hearing it, just pitch it up by a bunch of octaves, makes it easier to hear the actual notes. And if you're having problems finding the right notes, you can just use the bass notes in your Midi as a general guide. A general guide. Keep in mind, it could be other things. I don't like suggesting things that people could use to be lazy. I do be projecting. Just like, experiment with what else it could be instead of accepting whatever it is. The alternative to fucking around is learning scales, but honestly, these nerd cells talking about are meant to read music theory. Music is for listening, not smelling my television show. This isn't a 7th chord. It's pretty. I'll never know if that's right. Midis and 808s also have some specific quirks. Sometimes the 808 sample will overlap, which in this bass range sounds like, I gotta find words other than shit. I don't know. There's a bunch of ways to fix this. I just choose to pick max polyphony. Polyphony is fancy for how many notes can play at one time. If you set this to 1, anytime a new sample is triggered by a note in the MIDI, it'll cut the previous one. No overlap, no problemo. Another method to do this is envelope. I only do this sometimes because it's more work than touching a button, and I love laying basses down. But by setting it up like this, the notes only play for as long as the MIDI plays, rather than playing the entire sample when it's triggered by a note. There are some fucky workarounds you have to do if you do the polyphony method, but it isn't any slower, it's just slightly less intuitive. Anyways, hope that makes sense. Play around and test it for yourself. After figuring all that out, we've got a pretty basic pattern. Now, I've been missing my ma, so I want the shit to slap. And using the full extent of my piano roll knowledge, we can change this basic ass salt and pepper type beat to like sodium chloride and the fruits of the perennial Piper nigrum vine. We'll start with some slides. It does what it says, slides the note from one to the other. Press here or Control S to activate it and make the next note we click in a slide note. You lay these slide notes over a normal one and these will work together to form one note. The duration of the entire note depends on the normal one, and the time it takes to move to the slide note depends on how long the slide note actually is. So we can do it short like this, or we can do it long and to a different velocity like this. We can also go to different pans for the slide note. We can play a high or a different notes for some weird effects that I like to play around with. And here's the 808 pattern all done. Found a sound, put it down. I copy and pasted a generic structure. I don't know why, but it helps me sometimes, and then I can build on it more. By the way, this is how you'll listen to music from now on. You'll listen to shit and want to add something there, and hear stuff somewhere else and want it gone. So I'm just harnessing that type of energy when I'm making this kick. I click. And as a general rule of thumb, I like to keep it a bit sparser than the 808s so it doesn't wear out your ear. Just sort of the bounce of it. So with everything laid out into one pattern, you can click here to split it by the channels that have stuff inside them that's listed in the channel rack. So for us, that'll separate all the drums in our drum pattern and let us arrange it. And here's the entire drum pattern together. At this point, we could call it done. I did. Sat on it for a bit. If you make enough beats, you'll run into something I like to call post-beat clarity. And I will not be elaborating. I was waiting for this one to kick me in the nut. Singular. You know, since I've lost a more logical and analytical testicle, it's been hard. I still thought the beat was good, but honestly, at 3 AM, I couldn't tell. So I sent it over to some fresh ears. Shout out to Pedalbyte for being up at this time. SoundCloud link below. They make good music. They make even better suggestions. Honestly, I was a foolish fool to forget perc loops. An absolute jester. And after taking my little break and adding it in, I enjoyed it so much, it just kind of snowballed from there, and I ended up working on the beat to completion. Which reminds me, share music with people. If you don't have any, join the Discord. So what did I end up doing? I added the perc loops in. I also started exploring some new things for this beat that we haven't done yet. Started pushing the basics of what we've learned so far and using them in arrangement for some ear candy and mixing, which I didn't record. So here I am in real time. Yahoo! It's perc loops. You've seen me do it before. This is the one I picked. Mixing, it's very important. and I never do it. It's important. I don't do it at all. You guys should. Mixing is an important skill, but I don't do it. Anyway, so what is mixing? Basically just making all the shit that we've made kind of fit nicely together. If you think about sound on like a frequency spectrum, you'll have like basses that sit in the lower end, and then you'll have other sounds that sit higher up. And basically across that entire spectrum of what we can hear, mixing is just adjusting those frequencies to make them all fit together very nicely. Little bit effects, little bit space. And so how do we mix? We could finally open up the mixer track here. Boom. I'll make this a bit bigger. Boom. All these have numbers, which mixer track it's linked to. You can see I've just put all the main samples on 3. I think the most mixing I did was for this piano here to try to make it sound a bit better. So if I look at the channel rack, I've routed it to 1. Yeah, and basically the mixer track, your sample or your instrument, you designate which mixer track it goes to, and then the mixer track lets you stack effects on it. So again, we'll go to our piano. So the order is it goes into here, goes through all these effects, and it comes out into the master, which is just where everything gets played from. So I could route it into somewhere else to stack more effects, or to like something we call a bus. I'm not going to explain that. We'll just listen to the regular E piano. So that's standard. Sounds alright. I add a little bit more, and we'll go through the effects that I added one by one, and the order does matter. First of all, EQ, so that frequency spectrum we were talking about, it basically lets us see all of it. And because bass gets a little bit muddier, like before, when we were, sometimes the 808 sample will overlap, which in this bass range sounds like shit. Kind of doing a similar thing here, where I'm not letting the bass of the piano interrupt my 808s. So without, with, okay, and there's like a few effects that you'll run into that are pretty important, EQ being one of them, delay being another one. Just fills out a bit more space for me. And then reverb is like when the sound bounces it back. It's pretty simple. It even shows you a picture of the kind of room that the sound is bouncing in. The club with all of it off, all of it on. It's nice. Some other effects you can look into. Compression kind of just squishes everything down, so it's kind of this similar volume throughout. There's no like peaks where it's really loud and then dips where it's really quiet. Just kind of melds it all together. Distortion.
EA Sports.
It's in the name. There's like a whole world of... That's mixing. I also added some like ear candy and some bit. The first thing I did was automation. So automation is basically changing any number, aka value, aka knob, over time. Any. So like if you're not comprehending what that means for music, let me show you a few of the ways I've used it here. Here I've done it for volume. So you'll see that the volume goes up. It's actually linked to this. So you right click, create automation clip, and then you right click to draw all that in. But yeah, you'll see the volume knob turn up. I just think it just makes the beat ride in a bit better. Yeah, gives space for like the 808 to do whatever the fuck it wants, and then the rest of the beat comes in after. So it's like a bit staggered, feels good. I think over here I use a lot of little tips and tricks. So I do like a triplet 808 here. So this is how it started. And then I did some panning on these notes to kind of make it more interesting. I also chopped up the sample as well, so it kind of rides in with the 808. Pretty cool. I also add automation. So this one's a bit tricky to understand. All these samples are linked to mixer track 3. I've got an EQ that's cutting a lot of things out. It's literally just a radio preset. I just click this. You hear with it on, it kind of sounds like a radio. This knob is called the mix knob. So it's how much of the effect is playing on everything that I've routed into that mixer track. So I just make that go up over time, and it just sounds more and more radio, and then it dips before it drops in. So cool effect as well. Another thing I added was this reverse 808. So I literally just took the sample from here, same one, clicked reversed, chopped it, turned the pitch up as well. And then I also made each one unique by clicking here, make unique. So that when I started fiddling with these knobs for each one, it could be different. The pan for these ones are just inverted in the gaps of this 808 pattern. So you get this. So it's a big riser on top of another riser, a little bit of an impact. I love something that's kind of small and evolves like to influence the whole beat, like with automation, with panning, with reversing, with rises, everything together. It sounds like this. And it really feels like when all the individual elements of the beat are like coming together and like trying to build you up before I think it's fucking sick, man. And like if I took all of it out, like it wouldn't sound bad. It's fine, but like if you can make it more interesting, why not? So all together, like this. Like I think it's funner to make. I think it's funner to listen to. And throughout the beat, we've got more rises and impacts for a little bit more pizzazz. I think they're pretty nice. Now it's time to play. What did Wallflower name this beat? If you picked, I read the sample looking for name inspo and I thought of farts and laughed, you'd be correct. It's like my dad always said. If you don't find farts funny, you still have the same amount of farts, just less laughs. Powerful stuff. So I dragged this fart into the song. Very legit shit. And then I just separated it out so we had like a boop, kind of thing. I don't know the fucking word for it. And it's subtle. It's deadly. You know the thing YouTubers do when they make a bad joke and then they kind of roast themselves for it? I mean, I'm not going to do that. I like the joke. I just thought I'd point it out. That's fucking gas, bro. That's toxin gas, stinky fart. I'm turning this shit up so we can all enjoy it. Wait. Choked on my fucking wheel. That's beat 2 done. I'm gassed. I think I've shown you everything basically, except how to record your own vocals and instruments into the program and stuff. I don't know if you can do that on a trial, but I'm kind of sick of keeping in mind a bunch of things I have to do when making a beat. I just want to make music, so I'll just show you how to do that now. It's easy. I show you. You pick any track, literally anything you want. You put an in. So for me, that'll be in 1 on my Focusrite audio interface. Ba-ba-boy. Yeah, you can see it coming there. I usually just take this off. That should already be red once you select an in. And from there, there's a bunch of ways you can record as well. Fuck, I'm not going to go into it. You just click this onto beat 3. Oxford Dictionary. The definition of gas just walked in. Yeah, when I make music, it usually starts with guitar. It's just like the instrument I have the most experience with, so it's easier to let things come out. I think comfortable is the right word, because I don't think I know how to play guitar outside of my own songs that I write and like 2 others. I don't know any fucking chords, so I just have to do it note by note. I just find notes that sound good together. So it ends up in a fingerstyle thing, you know. And if you tell anyone I don't know any chords, yeah, I guess that'd be fair to say. Oh, shit. Apologies. The safety was off. I think for me, when I want to make music is usually when I'm feeling something or after I've reflected on something. So I feel like that kind of comes through, like in the back of my mind. It's never something I'm making a conscious effort to do. As much as I talk about music expressing myself, I rarely go into it with the intention to portray a particular thing, especially when I'm making it just for me. I don't make music to sing it on a stage. I don't make music to share with people. It's just made to be made. That's where it starts and ends until we begin finishing it. Yeah, I've kind of noticed throughout my videos, like I have difficulty talking about how I make music or what I'm thinking because I'm really fucking on it. I just have ideas in the back of my head, thoughts I let swim around. Sometimes I'll journal and then I play. I guess that's why it's important I pick an instrument I'm comfortable with. What the fuck did I just play? Oh my god. I'm not like in love with it. I had some other ideas I liked too before, but fuck me, man. I've been honestly having a hard time trying to make music for videos, and whether that's because I'm putting constraints on myself or like I'm trying to talk through the process, or I'm like, you know, very evidently aware that there's an audience here now. I don't like it. So I'm just gonna make it how it's meant to be made, which is to be made and not to be listened to. Yeah, I'm not gonna apologize for that. Let's get it fill open. I've put my guitar away, which means I've forgotten everything that I played. I've got like 2 megabytes of RAM in this thing. Gonna see if I can do it again. Alright, let's keep it simple. My brain too small. Bro, I suck dick and balls, man. I guess I'll have a fun time stitching all that together. Could definitely use some piano though. Oh, I don't want to bust out the big one. Actually, I might just plug this in. Get some drums and piano going. So there we go. Not gonna lie, this whole video has been a bit of a struggle for me. 6-month-long one. I only started realizing why when I was at the edge of the song, when the whole beat was laid out in front of me, and yet I couldn't find the right words to put on top of it. A little taste of karma, I guess, yelling at people to just start making music. But before I tell you how I got through that little conundrum, let me just walk you through my usual process first. Now, I don't like telling people how to write lyrics. I don't like telling people how to make music, but this is for a different reason other than I suck at making it. I quite like my lyrics. I feel like they accurately reflect me, and that's the only metric I really measure by. If you need proof, check out this video here. I do like this cool dual perspective thing. The song is good, too bad it's attached to a mid as fuck video. The reason I don't like telling people how to write lyrics is because it's so personal that it feels kind of fruitless to try and prescribe someone a way to do it. That's not to say that I haven't had any help. Like, I've looked into how to write poems, how to write stories. I've even watched videos on how to freestyle rap. But that's like from influences that I draw from and art that I enjoy interacting with. So with that foundational skill set, I'll go into a song with things I'm thinking about, and just as a result of that, I'll have pre-written down some stuff, just like journaling, lyrics throughout the day I thought were good. And from there, I'll just freestyle on the beat, using those notes as an anchor. And during the comping stage, I try to, draw out whatever legible words and phrases there are and sort of verbalize what I'm working through at the time. And I think in part, the things that I was working through sort of helped me finish this song. So now you know how my normal process works. Maybe we should start with where my head was at when I was writing this song. I recently watched Look Back. And if you make art, I think you should watch it too. Like this ending scene, it almost broke me. With like its quiet stillness and its refusal to acknowledge what the hell had happened and placing that burden on the viewer. Fuck, man, if you don't get this, like, go watch it. It's only an hour long. It's best to go into it without spoilers.
It made me question myself about making shit in general and the costs of putting everything into it.
You know, as much love as I got on my previous video, which I really, really appreciate, by the way. So many comments telling me about how much people like the song, how the video got them to start looking into music, and that's all I ever wanted it to do.
But with that came the pressure and the expectation to do better. And, you know, the idea that as I was making this song that I would have to explain myself or justify it to people watching just made it take months longer to do.
What I realized was, despite me harping on about it for the whole video, I wasn't really making music for me. And in some poetic way, the only way I got through this writer's block was by proving the thesis of this video right. I think I put it best when I said earlier, it's just made to be made.
And with AI on the rise, weird fucking tangent, I know, I just hate this shit. But I realized, you know, the most important thing is just making it. So, you know, if you're watching this, and if you've given it a start, actually, thank you so fucking much. I know how hard it is to start, but it doesn't matter if it's good. It matters that you're making it. So if you ever do want to share it, we've got our Discord.
So yeah, those are the ideas I had bouncing around in my head when I started writing this song, the things I was working through, honestly, when I was making this whole video, which explains why the freestyling came out like this.
Success is so facetious, I could never see that from where you are. How you fall off, I won't let you slide. Before the ink is bleeding, no, I hope you fucking mean it. I've been telling you to feel it, won't you tell me, did I do it for you? I don't know what's the heart, I swear I take it from the morning air. It's broken from the moment that I held it, and it's every time I took on your breath and I made that my life. I watch all my feelings collide. I'll allow myself out every time. See it right through, but don't see my eyes. I'ma put some guitar strings, I gotta grow up. Heartache, come to try. It's what you made justified. It told me breathe there till I.
Sorry if this tutorial came off like those art tutorials that are like, step 1, draw a circle, step 2, draw the rest of the fucking owl. I'm not even sure if it's possible for me to walk you through every little thing that FL does in a single video, but hopefully my point was clear. Step 1.5 should be experiment with every single line you can draw on the page, not with the goal to draw an owl, but whatever you want. Not everyone can reach this level of artistry, and that's okay. Do it for you and enjoy doing it. I asked the Discord for questions they had about making music, so we got one from Boy in Corduroy, answered by Mandem and Denim. Ways to get inspiration for music. It's a tricky one because every person you ask is going to give you a different answer. You could collaborate, listen to stuff that you like, try steal something. I think my observation from these answers and my own would be engage with things that move you and consider it deeply. Like, don't doom scroll, don't use AI. Me and my homies fucking hate AI. Because inspiration isn't just about being motivated to do something. I think it's more so about being pushed to feel something. So it's like two separate things that you're tackling. Step 1, be pushed to feel something, whatever that means to you. And step 2, practice the skill it requires to channel that energy into something tangible, like music. If you've got the basics of FL down and you're looking for ways to start your original music, I've got a pretty good starting point about it here. Anyways, thanks for watching. No idea when my next video will be out or what it's going to be, but you can be damn sure it's going to be for me this time. You had a good deal with me making a tutorial for you guys. I hope it's the most entertaining one out there at least, prettiest being a close second. Manifesting